Let's just be honest. I just been ballin' like Giannis. I feel like I'm next in the game. Rappers, they talkin', they lame. Nobody be up in my lane. I'm tryna go get it. I'm kicking shit like I'm Luke Kane. Let's just be honest. I just been ballin' like Giannis. Kicking it like I was Luke Kang, and these other rappers, they be... Yo, what is up, guys? I Go Bear here. My buddy has asked me to make a Dark and Darker classes tier list for High Roller as a beginner new player to the game. I'm gonna start this off by saying I have only played maybe 20 hours, 22-ish hours of High Roller strictly this season, so I don't have that much experience. But over the last, I think I played the last 20 hours of the white, and I ended up getting Exemplar from nothing. So I do have a bit of experience. I used to have really bad gear fear and scared to just jump in and lose a good set I saved up for. But this season I'm immediately pushing Demigod because I know it's not that hard, I guess. Like I said, little experience, and I got Exemplar, which is second highest rank. Nowhere near the best player. I just know that it's possible for a beginner to get into it and push as high as they want. It's mainly a grind, in my opinion. You will run into like really good players. You will lose a lot of kits, but as long as you stay consistent and just keep going in, you will get there. Just grind a little bit. Like I said, this is beginner friendly. This is not meant for like the pros or whatever, the people that are going to be toxic and say, oh, blah 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 blah. This is for a beginner, someone who wants to learn how to play High Roller and push for the rewards at the end of the season. So yeah, with that being said, asked me to make a guide. That would be a good idea, so I'm going to do that. I will try to be as least biased as I can. I have played every single one of these classes. I think I got 6 or 7 of them to Pathfinder or above. Yeah, I got, I think 6 of them to Pathfinder and 1 to Voyager and 1 to Exemplar, and that was all within the last day. I just got bored of one class, so I kept switching. Anyway, starting off, we got Bard. I think Bard is really good into PvE and bossing, and they just get free AP from opening up chests and stuff really fast without lockpicks. So just for that alone, I think they would be A tier. But I also think they're really good in PvP. I think they beat up 80% of fights. I think a Bard should win with decent gear. A good Bard. I will say it's probably one of the harder classes to learn, and seeing as this is a beginner guide, I think I should take that into account. So maybe they won't be S tier. I would say if this was like best classes all time, I would say Bard would be up here at S tier. But seeing as it is a little harder for a beginner to learn, to time or to skip songs, if you're experienced, you know what I mean, it does take a little bit of skill, I will say that. But the fact that they have range, shriek to counter barbs and fighters and bears and panthers, I think it's pretty good. So I think we'll put Bard at A tier. Next, we got Barbarian. I will say Barbarian is probably the easiest beginner class to learn because all you do is run at people and swing your axe or your sword or your maul, and they do pretty well. This is the class that I got Exemplar on. I have 150 levels this season on Barb. I think it was really fun. 160 levels on Barb. I would say it's really fun. The only thing that's annoying is dealing with rangers or a good wizard. Obviously the rogues, man, rogues are annoying. I think dealing with druids is really easy because you can 1 or 2 tap them depending on whichever form they are. 4 of them you can 1 tap, that being like human or rat or chicken or panther. They're pretty easy to 1 tap druids. It's all just based off timing. Anyways, beginner, they do really well into PvE. Takes 1 or 2 swings to kill a mob most of the time. The higher up bosses and stuff, semi-bosses, they're pretty good into. Really easy. They have a fear if you need it. Pull too many mobs in High Roller. Cleric. So Cleric, I think, is fairly beginner friendly. The biggest thing on a Cleric that makes you a good or bad Cleric is your ability to bait, I would say, because knowing when to take your fights is ultra important on Cleric, seeing as you have 0 range. Kind of squishy depending on your build. So like a ranger can literally 3 tap you, or a wizard 2 fireballs, you're dead. Warlock can just dot you twice and run away, and you will take a lot of damage. But I would say it's fairly beginner friendly if you play the Judgment and Smite build. If you're going more into spells, I would say spells are a little harder on Cleric. So I think we'll put Cleric on I'll say B tier. So they deal with mobs kind of easily. Most of the time you're using a Morning Star, and it takes like 2 or 3 hits to kill a normal goblin, but I guess in High Roller it would take like 3 to 5 depending on your gear set. So clearing mobs is a little annoying on Cleric, but it's definitely possible. I would probably put them at, I would say like B minus area. Yeah, really strong in 1v1 situations. Kind of good at recovering third parties if you are playing spell build. So there's a lot of pluses to Cleric, but a lot of negatives. Like range is a big negative. Like it's so hard to deal with. Okay, next, Druid. This will represent Panther Druid. I think Panther Druid is not an easy class to play. Most people will be like, oh, it's too OP, nerf Druid, because it is strong if you end up playing badly against it. I would say you have to go in with rat form most of the time, or chicken jump panther thing, which is not easy for a beginner to learn, which this is a beginner friendly guide, or a beginner tier list, I mean. So Panther Druid I would put above Cleric, but I think they're just above Cleric. I don't think they're better. They are stronger. Like if you can get in to get a couple hits off in panther form, most of the time you will win the fight, unless you're going against a barb, then you're dead. But like a wizard, you can kill a wizard, you can kill a warlock, you can kill a ranger if you're in close already. Like if you don't get hit by a dot or a like spell or an arrow or a franny, a poison dart, like there's a lot of variables just like Cleric, I would say. And I have quite a bit of experience on Druid. Not so much Panther. I like Bear Druid, which this is gonna represent Bear Druid. So Panther I would put maybe B plus if there was a B plus. Okay, anyway, so yeah, Druid I would put at B plus. They're a little bit better than a Cleric. Actually, no, we're gonna drop Cleric to C tier. We're gonna put Panther Druid at B tier, only because Panther gets 2 tapped by every single one of these classes, or 3 tapped if you're a ranger. Warlock 1 dot can kill you if you accidentally swap. Druid is not a beginner friendly class, so actually we're gonna drop Druid C tier. Druid is not beginner friendly because 1, you have to learn your panther jump or chicken panther jump. You should learn B hops if you're gonna play Druid at a higher level, which I guess you could say for every class, but it's very important for Druid to get in close, because if you're far away, you are screwed against a wizard, ranger, or warlock. You have to know when you can shift forms. You have to be careful of mobs. You do have to learn door jump, which yes, I get is annoying, and that immediately puts people at 2 OP. I do not agree. I think Druid is one of the higher skill expression classes, and I will stick by that. Bear Druid, put that at C tier as well. 1, because actually this is beginner friendly, so we're gonna put Bear at B tier above Cleric. Bear is way easier to play than Panther, because 1, you cannot get 2 tapped, and 2, all you have to do is right click. You don't have to worry about B hopping or any of that. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. You have to learn how to do a chicken into bear to get in close, or sometimes you can rat into bear if they're not paying attention. But if you're going into like ranger, warlock, wizard, you have to be very, very, very careful. You're never catching them, dude. Just go back in my kit. Oh! Oh my god! It's better to bait them into a doorway, kind of like a Cleric would. Not a doorway, like a corridor, like a small hallway. That way they don't have much room to run. Once again, takes a little bit more skill, my opinion. I would say B tier, maybe even C tier, because Druid or Bear form is not that strong right now. With like medium gear, you want around like, I think it's 42 strength and like 224 lobbies to do like really well. Next, Wizard. I would say Wizard is better than Panther Druid if played well. I would say it is better than a Cleric. I would say it's better than Bear Druid. I'd put them, it's really difficult because this is for beginners. So a beginner playing Wizard is kind of hard. You want to maybe stack more move speed. You do have to play really safe, because if a Panther does get on you, they can cutthroat you. Same with the Rogue, which means you can't cast for like 2 or 3 seconds. So I would say if you're decent, I'd put them at like B tier. They're really strong and engaging fights with a fireball. They have invisibility, so you can pull like a crap ton of mobs. Clear pretty fast with magic missiles, or if you play the bonk build, they clear mobs really easily. Like I said, you can invis dump mobs onto people, which is kind of strong, especially if you have like Nightmare Mage on you. You just invis, swaps over to the next guy, which is crazy. You could play them bonk build, which is better than a rogue in my opinion. They're stronger than a rogue as bonk build. So honestly, I'm gonna put Wizard at A tier. I would say learning Wizard is not that hard. Once you do learn Wizard, it is really strong. Next, Warlock. I would say Warlock is also very beginner friendly. Once you get gear with a little bit of magic healing and move speed, you literally just dot everything, put up flame walk, run around the map, hellfire doors, flame walk again, keep dotting more mobs, and phantomize if it ever gets scary. It's pretty easy. I got Voyager on mine. Like I said, I only played 20 hours, so maybe half of that was Warlock. Yeah, I would say it's fairly easy to get into. Strong in PvP, double dot. Once you put one curse of pain on people, unless they're like really good players, they end up like hiding behind a wall or running away, which is really weird because it's just one curse. But if you get double dot on people, it melts people. Like, I'm talking, you can get them down to like 20% HP with just hitting 2 dots. That being said, if you're trying to dot and you miss, you do end up taking quite a bit of damage. I would say dot warlock, dot and run lock is really good right now with Phantomize being as strong as it is. I would say dot lock is around A, maybe better than Barbarian, maybe. I'd probably put Warlock barely above Barbarian. Demon Warlock would be C tier with Druid. I don't think Demon Warlock has a place in this game right now. Ranger, I would say, is super beginner friendly. I would even put Ranger on S tier. They are really strong. Once you get a little bit of True Fizz, if you have any sort of aim at all, you could do really good as a ranger. I would say Barbarian is kind of a hard counter if you're playing with like Forceful Shot. Anyways, Ranger, really good. Forceful Shot does get countered by Barbarian. The only thing that really counters a ranger in my opinion. Obviously, I would say maybe rogues can, but like I said, any sort of aim, super beginner friendly, really strong in PvP, pretty decent clear with a spear for mobs and stuff. They open doors really fast, they open chests really fast, they loot pile really fast. If you're playing like 15 strength, you can kill the goblin bosses really easy, kind of fast with the spear. Also can escape really well with the backstep if something goes wrong. But yeah, there's a guy named Cash Corey on Twitch. I watch him quite a bit. He's like one of the best rangers next to the lore, I would say, but he plays a different build than the lore. Like the lore usually runs what's it called, Forceful Shot, Quick Shot, really strong until you run into a Barbarian. But Cash Corey plays a quick fire with, I think, backstep. Yeah, quick fire backstep. And it is so strong, man. Like, you have so much action speed even in like base Squire gear. So yeah, I'd put Ranger at S tier, honestly. I think they are really strong once you get a little bit of True Fizz, which should be pretty easy early on. Maybe like after the first week, everyone will be fully bissed out, I think. So yeah. Now, fighter. I would say longsword fighter is extremely easy to learn. By far the strongest against most of these classes, in my opinion. Can use a bow, so they can beat you at range. They have more PDR than you. They dump on rangers, in my opinion. If they get in close, longsword kills you in 2 to 3 hits. You have second wind if you need it. Taunt is really strong right now. 10% PDR, 10% MDR off of that. Every 20 seconds, 30 seconds when you press it. You can parry any weapon in the game. I'm pretty sure you can even parry ice bolts. Which is insane. They updated spell reflect, and I saw quite a few people using that, so you can reflect fireballs. I think longsword fighter is just insane. Too OP. The fact that you can parry anything in the game is just absolutely crazy. If the parry did, 50% less damage, then I'd be okay with it, but it does way too much damage. Like, if you block a simple barbarian swing one time, that barbarian dies. With even like 170 HP, I think I've been 2-shot by a fighter. That's my biggest counter. I know, what's his name? I know Skinny Pete is really good at not being parried. But like the fact that you have to do certain measures to avoid a parry, that is literally you just look up and block 90% of the time, or turn to the side. It takes no effort to parry, it feels like. I think parry fighter, longsword, too OP. Really beginner friendly, really easy to learn. Yeah, have better range than a ranger. If you're running a recurve bow, you can destroy warlocks and wizards from range. You absolutely poop on clerics. The Morningstar is really easy to parry. I would say rapier is kind of hard to parry, but that's probably it. You can also parry arrows, which is stupid. It's cool, don't get me wrong, it's cool, it's fun, but it is too OP. Now rogue. I would say rogue is fairly easy to learn. Pretty easy to gear. I'd honestly put rogue above all the casters. So rogue is pretty much just all patience. If you can find a good corner, if you're really patient, you can creep around the map. If you have cutthroat, you destroy warlocks, you destroy wizards, you destroy clerics. You can stop a fighter from using, what's it called, second wind. If you're playing poison weapon, you completely counter druid. It's not even close. I'd say the only like really hard matchup would be maybe a ranger, maybe. It all depends. Most of the time you want to play around doors and small corners and flank people and third party. You don't really ever just like run in 1v1 and try to fight like a barbarian. You'll most of the time lose. But if you're playing stealth build, I would say S tier maybe. If you're playing normal, just like 160 HP rogue, then I'd put like A tier. I think I like where this is at. Once again, this is a this is best classes for a beginner learning high roller as of right now for next season. If they do any changes, then I will review them in the future. But I would say this is where I'm at. I would say I was pretty fair. Yeah, I think fighter's OP. I think ranger really good. Just have to play a little smarter. But if you have good aim at all, you're fine. Bard, same thing. Good aim. You have to play a little smarter. You have to learn your spells, but it's fairly easy and really good. Rogue, super easy. Just have to play patient. Play stealth build. Play poison weapon. You counter most people. You don't even need rupture. Just poison weapon, cutthroat. You beat every class in the game. Just play smart. Barbarian, go crazy. Put a big two-hander on and run at people. You win like 70% of your fights with ease. Warlock, thought everything, farm your AP. Really good. Wizard, you can win a lot of your fights. You are strong. You just have to learn how to wizard. That's basically all I can put it as. Druid, bear farm anyway. Learn how to chicken jump. Learn how to bee hop. Get on top of people. Right click. Simple. If it's a fighter, run away. It's so easy to parry a druid. Cleric, use doorways. Use doorways. Use small hallways. Make sure to clear mobs because they're annoying. You can't rat through a door. You can't invis. Pretty much, yeah, just play doorways, play small hallways, you win most of the time. Panther, it feels bad putting Panther here, but it's not beginner friendly. This is a beginner friendly guide. I would say Panther is not beginner friendly. I would say Panther is really strong, like it could be like here, but it's not beginner friendly. That's the reason they're on C tier. For all the people in the comments that are going to say Druid is super easy, I challenge you to play Druid and High Roller for 2 to 3 days. And see how many times you die to mobs or poisons or getting one shot by a random mob or getting hit by a fireball or dying to a warlock curse or dying to a ranger shot, dying to a fighter shot, dying to a drum. There's a million things you die to. Dying to gas, dying to a floor trap, dying to a bolo goblin because those have an aimbot for some reason. Yeah. So I challenge you guys to play Druid for a week, see how it does. See how you do as a new beginner Druid. If you played Druid in the past, yeah, we're probably up here. We're good, but we're not OP. I would say we're all right. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any disagreements or any constructive criticism to make the video better next time, feel free to drop a comment. And yeah, see you guys. Peace. Also, tell Skinny Pete to collab, please.